113 versus 107, the mechanical data. Now, I sometimes take for granted how well I have been exposed to the 113 and the 107 models. The 107 chassis was a much more diverse model platform, though, than the 113. And for that reason, I think that understanding the difference between the two cars involves a discussion of their mechanical differences. So let's start with the 113 because it's easy. The 113 came as the 230 SL, 250 SL, and 280 SL with 2.3, 2.5, and 2.8 liter mechanically injected six-cylinder engines. All of them were generally the same, but the 230 SL had a 5-main bearing crankshaft, and the 250 and 280 SL had a more durable, if less free-revving, 7-main bearing crank. These cars came with 3 different transmissions: a 4-speed manual, a ZF 5-speed manual, and a 4-speed automatic. All of them were very durable transmissions, but the one that I think is the most ubiquitous is probably the 4-speed manual, and it's what most people want. While these cars have great feel in their shifts, and while they are durable, the transmission synchro rings can fail if you shift abusively. And for that reason, you should always be wary of this when you're buying a 113. In addition, the 230 SL had rear drum brakes, and all these cars had the low pivot swing axle and front subframe system that were seen on Mercedes' other models like the 108 and 111. Now, the 107, compared to the 280 SL, had many more engine offerings, both 6-cylinder and 8-cylinder. While the 280 SL, 250, and 230 SL generally had high revving characteristics because they had numerically high, low-geared rear axles, the 107 was more of a highway car, and its engines were designed to deliver high-speed cruising with quietness and great pleasure. Some of the examples of these cars that performed so well were the 560 SL, which used a 5.6-liter M117 V8 with a fuel distributor and an electro-hydraulic actuator, commonly known as KE Jetronic injection. Other popular models were the 380 and 450 SL, and in Europe you could also get the 500 SL, which was a very, very fast car. Some versions had 300 horsepower available, although the majority of them and the 560s produced 235 horsepower. These had numerically low, tall geared rear axles for high-speed cruising. The only models that did not fit this mold were the 107 280 SL, the 107 300 SL, the 107 350 SL, and arguably the 450 SL up to 1979, which came with sort of an intermediate compromise gear of 3.07 ratio. The majority of 107s were automatics, but the 350 SL, 280 SL, and 300 SL, in other words, the 3 smallest displacement models, were available with 4 and 5-speed manuals. The 350 SL was noteworthy because it could be optioned as it was a V8 engine with a 4 or 5-speed manual available. 3 and 4-speed automatics were used. The 3-speed automatic was used on 450 SLs. The rest of the cars got 4-speed automatics, and they were all very durable transmissions, particularly the 3-speed. In fact, the 3-speed has such a great design that items like the reverse piston can be removed with the transmission in the car, which I really like. This isn't an opportunity, though, on the 500, 560, 380 SL, etc. Now, I find that the mechanical differences between the cars are even more numerous. The 107 used rear control arms, and they used a double-jointed swing axle with an isolated differential. And they used a front subframe like the 115 that attached at all 4 corners with upper and lower wishbones for better ride comfort. But I find these suspension systems to be less durable. As an example, the 107 was notorious for shearing off its lower control arm mounting points. This was a common problem on 450 and 380 SLs, but it should not deter you from buying one, as most of these issues have been resolved. I find that the engines on the 107s are easier to diagnose and service, but the 113 engines are more mechanical, and therefore there are fewer things that can go wrong with them, even if some of the settings such as the injection pump and ignition timing might be harder to adjust. So these cars are light years away from each other mechanically, and they're two totally different cars, but they're both very good cars, so this isn't meant to deter you from one or the other and say one is better than the other. My last caveat, though, will be that when you're looking at a 107, keep in mind that most of the V8s, apart from the 450 and 350, had aluminum engine blocks, and this can be a source of trouble both with heat management, oil leakage, and of course conducting major repairs such as the replacement of valve guides. And in the meantime, we will show you some of these differences when we do our other videos. So if you liked this, please like, share, and subscribe. Continue watching for more information on this topic. And if you're a Patreon supporter, thank you. Our friend Obi made this video possible with his Patreon support. And if you are a Patreon supporter and you have a video topic that you want to do, please just let us know. And we will be happy to do our best to incorporate it into our video regimen. In the meantime, thank you for watching and subscribing, and enjoy whichever Mercedes you have, no matter what model platform it is.